Jenna's hands trembled as she read the message that fell from Daniel's medical file. Don't trust anyone, my life depends on you. Meet me at midnight, Daniel. She looked around the deserted corridor of Green Valley Medical Center. It was almost midnight now. Her pulse raced. What did Daniel mean? Why was he in danger? Jenna was only 20 years old and had been working as a nurse for 6 months. She was inexperienced, still eager to earn respect. But Daniel Reyes, the 25-year-old patient in room 12, had caught her attention from the first day he arrived. Daniel had come to the hospital 3 weeks ago with chest pains. The doctor said his heart was weak and he might not live long. But there was something strange about him. He was too calm for someone who was dying, too handsome, too mysterious. Jenna, Daniel's voice called softly from room 12. She stepped into his room, closing the door behind her. The moonlight came through the window, making his dark hair shine. Even in his hospital gown, he looked like a movie star. You got my message, he said, sitting up in bed. Daniel, what's going on? Why did you say your life depends on me? He patted the bed beside him. Sit down, please. Jenna sat carefully on the edge of his bed. Being this close to him made her feel nervous. For 3 weeks, she had tried to keep things professional, but Daniel made that impossible. He would glance at her in a way that disarmed her. He would ask about her day, her dreams, her fears. He remembered every little thing she told him. When she worked the overnight hours, he would stay consciously alert just to hear her voice. I need to tell you something, Daniel said, taking her hand. His touch was warm and made her nerves ignite. But first, I need to know, do you feel it too? Feel what? She whispered, though she knew exactly what he meant. This connection between us? This feeling that maybe we were meant to find each other? Her face flushed. Daniel, I'm your nurse. I can't forget about rules for... 1 minute, he said, moving closer. Speak from your heart. Do you think about me when you go home? Do you look forward to seeing me every day? I couldn't lie. Yes. I think about you too. Every second. When I close my eyes, I see your face. When I'm scared about dying, thinking about you makes me brave. He lifted his hand to touch her cheek. His fingers were gentle, but the spark was electric. Jenna, I know this is crazy. I know I'm sick and I might die soon, but I think I'm falling in love with you. Her breath caught. Daniel, I dream about what our life could be like if you get better. Maybe we could go on real dates. Maybe I could take you to see the ocean. Maybe we could build something beautiful together. His eyes shimmered with something deeper than hope longing. She felt herself falling, caught in the gravity between them. What if you don't get better? She asked softly. Then at least I'll know what love feels like before I go. He leaned even closer. Jenna, will you give me a chance? Will you let yourself feel what I know you're feeling? Before she could answer, the heart monitor blared. Daniel's face twisted in pain as he grabbed his chest. Daniel! Jenna sprang into action, checking the monitor, scanning his vitals. His heart rate was all over the place, erratic and dangerous. I'm okay, he gasped, his voice thin. It happens sometimes. She helped him lie back down as the numbers slowly settled. But then she noticed something chilling. There were small red marks on his arm, ones she hadn't seen before. Not fresh, not from an IV. These were older, hidden. Daniel, what are these marks on your arm? His eyes widened, filled with a sudden flicker of fear. Jenna, listen carefully. I need you to do something for me, but you have to promise to keep it a secret. What is it? There's something hidden in my apartment. If something happens to me, you have to find it. It's the only thing that can prove the truth. What truth? Jenna, you're scaring me. Room 12 isn't safe. Some of the doctors here, they aren't who they pretend to be. Jenna's blood turned cold. What do you mean? I can't explain it all now, but promise me something. What? If I die, don't believe it was natural. And whatever you do, don't let them give me another injection. Suddenly, footsteps heavy, getting closer. Daniel gripped her wrist. They're coming. Hide. Daniel, what's going on? Just hide, please. Jenna ducked behind the curtain just as the door creaked open. Through a narrow slit, she saw a man in a white coat walk in. But it wasn't Dr. Patel. Daniel's attending physician. "Time for your medicine," the man said coldly. "I don't want any more medicine." "I'm afraid that's not your choice." Jenna watched, heart pounding, as the stranger prepared a syringe. Daniel tried to resist, but his body was too weak. "Please," he begged. "I know what you're doing to me." The man didn't respond. He injected the fluid into Daniel's IV line. Within seconds, Daniel's eyes began to close. "Sleep well," the man muttered with a cruel smile. As soon as he left, Jenna rushed to Daniel's side. His breathing was labored, too slow. She snatched the chart from the end of the bed, her eyes scanning fast. What she saw made her heart stop. That injection, it wasn't part of his treatment plan, and it wasn't heart medication at all. Someone was trying to kill Daniel, slowly, quietly, carefully, and they almost succeeded. But why? Why would someone want Daniel dead? And more importantly, who could she trust? Jenna stared down at Daniel's pale face, his chest rising and falling with a rhythm that felt too shallow, too fragile. She made a decision. She wouldn't let him die. She would protect him. She would uncover the truth. And she would make sure his final wish, whatever it was, came true. The wall clock read 12:47 a.m. Jenna slid into the chair beside his bed and braced herself for the longest night of her life. But she wasn't alone. Unbeknownst to her, in the shadows just beyond the doorway, someone was watching. And now, they knew she had seen too much. Jenna didn't sleep. All night long, she kept vigil beside Daniel's bed, checking his breathing, watching the monitor, praying. The strange injection had made him violently ill, but he was still breathing, still fighting. When the morning sunlight spilled across the bed, Daniel stirred. His eyelids fluttered open. "Jenna, I'm here," she said, quickly taking his hand. "We need to talk about last night," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "You saw him, didn't you?" Daniel rasped. "The fake doctor." She nodded. "Yes. He gave you something that wasn't listed in your chart." Daniel exhaled slowly. "Then you know, someone is trying to hurt me." "Why didn't you tell the real doctors? Why not call the police?" "Because I don't know who's clean," he said. "The person trying to kill me works here in this hospital." Jenna's heart dropped. "Who?" "I'm not sure yet," Daniel said, "but I know why they want me dead." His eyes filled with a deep, haunted sadness. "Jenna, I haven't been honest with you." "What do you mean?" "I'm not really sick. My heart's fine. They've been poisoning me slowly, bit by bit, making it look like heart failure." Jenna stared at him, disbelief clouding her thoughts. "That's not possible. You've been here for weeks." 3 weeks of carefully measured doses," Daniel replied bitterly, "making me weaker, duller, easier to control. I figured it out too late." "Daniel," Jenna said urgently, "if you're not really dying, we can fix this. We can tell someone. We can fight back." He shook his head slowly. "Last night's injection was different, stronger. I can feel it spreading." Tears welled up in Jenna's eyes. No, I won't let you die." Daniel reached for her hand. "Then help me finish what I started. Fulfill my last wish. It's the only way to stop them from doing this to others." "What do you want me to do?" From beneath his pillow, Daniel pulled out a small brass key. "This opens a safety deposit box at Citibank on Main Street, box 247. Inside, you'll find everything, proof of what's happening and why." "Why not go to the police now?" "Because they're protected. They have allies in high places. That key, it's the only way to expose them." Jenna stared at the key, the weight of it pressing into her palm. "What kind of proof?" "Photos, internal memos, audio recordings, enough to burn Medcor to the ground." Jenna's stomach twisted. Medcor, the pharmaceutical giant, the hospital's most generous donor. "They're experimenting on patients," Daniel said. "And when someone starts asking too many questions, they silence them." Her skin went cold. "How do you know all this?" Daniel looked away. "Because I used to work for them." Jenna slowly pulled her hand away, stunned. "You worked for them?" Daniel nodded, guilt shadowing his eyes. I was a researcher at MedCorp. I thought I was helping develop life-saving medicine, but it wasn't until too late that I saw what they were really doing. He took a shaky breath. They were testing dangerous experimental drugs on real patients, without consent. When I found out, I tried to walk away. His voice cracked. That's when everything changed. Threats, surveillance, and then people started disappearing. Jenna felt as if the air had been punched from her lungs. So everything you told me, the flirting, the late-night talks, the feelings, was any of it real? Daniel looked devastated. Jenna, everything I told you about how I feel, that was the only truth in all this. You're the only real thing in my life right now. She hesitated. How can I believe you? Because if I were lying, he said softly, I wouldn't be begging you to risk your life for the truth. Jenna glanced down at the key in her palm, suddenly feeling its full weight. If I do this, what happens to you? Daniel looked away. I probably won't make it through today. The last dose, it was meant to finish the job. No, her voice broke. Then I'm staying here. I'll protect you. You can't, he said firmly. If they find out you're helping me, they'll kill you too. I don't care. You have to care, Daniel said, because this isn't just about me anymore. He reached into his gown and pulled out a folded envelope. There's something else in that deposit box. A letter for someone important to me. Who? My sister, Ella. She doesn't know I'm here. She doesn't know what I got mixed up in. This letter explains everything and says goodbye. Jenna's chest tightened. Ella, her voice quivered. What's her last name? Matthews. Ella Matthews. The world seemed to tilt. Daniel, Ella Matthews is my sister. He froze. That's impossible. She's been living in Paris for a year. She's my older sister. Daniel's eyes darkened with pain. Jenna, Ella isn't in Paris. She's been missing for 3 months. That's why I tried to leave MedCorp. They took her to keep me quiet. Everything inside Jenna shattered. She stumbled back, gripping the edge of the bed. No, you're wrong. I'm not, he said. I didn't know who she was to you. I only knew that she was innocent. They're holding her somewhere. She's alive, Jenna, but not for long. She could barely breathe. My sister? And the evidence in that box? Daniel continued. It shows where she's being kept. Tears streamed down Jenna's face. I thought she left us, that she just disappeared. Daniel shook his head, anguished. She disappeared because of me, because I refused to stay silent. Suddenly, voices outside the door. Footsteps, multiple people, getting closer. Daniel's face turned sharp. They're coming. You have to go. Now. I'm not leaving you. If they catch you here, they'll kill us both. Then no one will find Ella. The footsteps stopped right outside the room. Go, he whispered. It's only 1 floor down. You can make the jump. Jenna kissed his forehead. I'll come back for you. No, he said. Promise me you won't. Promise me you'll save Ella. That's all that matters now. The door handle turned. I promise, she whispered. Jenna yanked open the window and slipped out just as the door creaked open behind her. She didn't look back. Jenna ran. The early morning air cut like glass against her skin as she sprinted through the hospital grounds, her mind a storm of panic and purpose. She didn't stop until she was behind the wheel of her car, the small brass key clenched tightly in her hand. Daniel's last hope, Ella's only chance. She drove fast, too fast. But there was no time for fear now. Citibank loomed ahead, its glass doors shining in the first gold rays of dawn. She parked, ran inside, and showed the key to the manager with trembling hands. I need access to safety deposit box 247, she said. The manager glanced at the key, checked her ID, then nodded. 5 minutes later, Jenna stood alone in a cold, sterile vault, staring at box 247. She turned the key. The lock clicked. Inside was a manila folder, thick, bulging with documents, a flash drive, a small audio recorder, 2 sealed envelopes. She opened the folder first. Photos, internal emails, test results, all stamped with the MedCorp logo. Patient names blacked out, drug trials, experimental injections. Records of patients who had unexpectedly passed away. One file simply read, Matthews, Ella, confidential transfer. Jenna's hands trembled. The flash drive contained a folder titled Phase 10 Evidence. She slipped the audio recorder into her coat pocket. It would have to wait. Finally, the two envelopes. One was addressed to Ella Matthews, the other to her. With unsteady fingers, Jenna opened her letter. Dear Jenna, if you're reading this, then I'm probably gone. But if you're holding this letter, then you kept your promise. And for that, I have no words. I wanted to protect you from this. I never wanted you involved. But in the middle of all this chaos and danger, you found me. You gave me a reason to hope, to believe in something again. I'm sorry I lied to you about being sick. I'm sorry I got you pulled into something so dark. But I'm not sorry for loving you. In another life, maybe we could have had everything we dreamed of. The ocean, a little house with wide windows and open air. Peace. But for now, please save your sister. She's still alive and innocent. She doesn't deserve what happened. Take this evidence to the police. Get it into the right hands. Don't stop, no matter what. And Jenna, don't let them turn you into a shadow of who you are. You are brave and brilliant, and you are the only one who can finish what I started. I love you, always. Daniel, tears rolled down Jenna's face as she folded the letter, but there was no time to cry. She gathered the folder, the flash drive, the audio device in both letters, and then she drove straight to the police station. 2 hours later, everything erupted. Police raided Green Valley Medical Center. 5 arrests, including the fake doctor who had poisoned Daniel. Simultaneously, another team stormed MedCorp's secret testing site. In a locked basement room, they found Ella, alive, weak, but breathing. Jenna stood frozen at the doorway of the rescue site. The moment she saw Ella, pale, trembling, wrapped in a thin blanket, her legs gave out beneath her. But Ella saw her, and somehow, even after 3 months in captivity, her voice came clear. Jenna? Jenna ran to her, threw her arms around her sister and held on as tightly as she could. I thought I lost you, she whispered. Ella's voice cracked. You saved me. But Jenna only shook her head. Daniel saved you. The days that followed moved in a blur of sirens, courtrooms, and headlines. The evidence Jenna delivered exposed the MedCorp conspiracy in its entirety. Unethical testing, bribed hospital staff, dozens of victims. The press called it the largest medical crime scandal in a decade. And Daniel Reyes, the patient who was never really dying, the scientist who risked everything to do the right thing, was the key witness who gave it all to stop it. Except by the time the arrests were made, he was gone. When Jenna returned to room 12 with the police, the bed was empty. No medical records, no transfer logs. No one had seen him leave. Some said he'd been moved. Others whispered darker things. But Jenna knew the truth. Daniel had sacrificed himself to make sure she and Ella lived, to make sure the truth got out. 6 months later, Jenna stood alone at a small grave in a quiet meadow, flowers in her hand. Daniel Reyes, 1999-2025. A quiet hero who chose love over fear. She came every week, rain or shine. She told him how Ella was recovering, slowly finding her smile again. She talked about the trial, where the MedCorp executives were sentenced. She shared the stories of other patients, the ones who were saved because of him. Jenna never forgot the ocean he dreamed of, the letters he left, and the warmth of his hand when he said he wasn't afraid to die because he had loved. She sat quietly in the grass. I'm okay now, she said softly, almost to herself. You gave me the strength to become who I'm supposed to be. The breeze moved gently through the trees as if answering her. I'll make sure the world remembers you, Daniel, not just as a name in a file, but as a man who chose to fight, who chose to love, even at the end. She stood, placed the flowers down, and whispered the words she never got to say. I love you too. And then for the first time since everything began, Jenna smiled. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to us.